Mercedes have revealed some of their plans for next year, and these plans are not only about the car upgrades, but also about their driver lineup. And trust me, the driver Mercedes are hoping to get into their car to replace Lewis Hamilton certainly will shock you. But we believe he'll be able to rack up championships at Mercedes if he makes the move. So make sure to watch the whole video to find out who will be driving for Mercedes in the future. Before we dive in, we're looking at Mercedes' last race of the season and their future car plans. So now, we're going to examine the performance decline of Mercedes from Sao Paulo, when George Russell claimed the lone victory of the season, to Abu Dhabi, where Russell finished 5th and Hamilton did not finish. In the season-ending race at Abu Dhabi, Mercedes' recent resurgence was cut short. They were unquestionably the third fastest team around the Yas Marina circuit just 7 days after their 1-2 finish in Brazil. The W13's competitiveness changed dramatically after their extensive floor and wing upgrades in Austin, along with a reworked wing and some significant weight savings. But those were at circuits like Austin, Mexico City and Sao Paulo that didn't harshly penalize drivers who had more drag. Low drag is a crucial component of the equation for being competitive in Abu Dhabi due to the lengthy flat-out stretches of Sector 1 and the chicane-punctuated flat-out sections between turns 5 and 9. The W13 is clearly a much draggier car than the Red Bull, as seen by its performance trends throughout the season. That hurt significantly more in Abu Dhabi than it did at the 3 previous track configurations. This had an impact upon the team's strategic choices, as trackside engineering chief Andrew Shovlin explained. Looking at the FP3 timesheets, we concluded we'd probably have 2 Red Bulls ahead of us whatever we did. We weren't expecting to be so far behind the Ferraris. That was a bit disappointing. But the fact we knew we'd have the Red Bulls ahead meant we didn't make any decisions based around qualifying. Everything was for the race. In the practice sessions, George Russell and Lewis Hamilton both attempted a rear wing with a lower flap angle, which improved their straight line speed compared to the low-winged Ferrari and Red Bull, but made them slower overall due to the oversteer in the final sector's sharper corners. Mercedes decided to run the larger wing to help protect the tyres because they anticipated finishing behind Red Bull in qualifying, and the race appeared to be evenly balanced between a 1-stop and a 2-stop, even though this made their car less competitive wheel-to-wheel due to its vulnerability at the end of the straights. The layout of the Yas Marina circuit also offered another challenge, which likely impacted Mercedes more than the others. Even over a qualification lap, some tyre management is required here. The rear tyres will typically become too hot for the turns in Sector 3 if the grip offered by the long, quick sweeps of Sector 1 is fully utilised. Further complicating matters, it is challenging to warm up the front tyres at the start of the lap without overheating the rears. This poses a particular challenge for Mercedes W13, since it requires an aggressive outlap to warm up the front tyres. This is a drawback of the car's favourable attribute of not overtaxing its front tyres throughout a race. The brake ducting configurations inside the wheel account for a large portion of the heat management of the front tyres. We recently talked about how intelligent the Mercedes is in another video on our channel. Check it out here. But the brake cooling configurations employed in Abu Dhabi and Mexico's thin atmosphere can be distinguished from one another. We don't seem to change the ducting as much as some, says Shovlin. Generally, we're trying to keep the rubber on the cooler side, as that allows it to last a bit longer and keeps the pressures from rising too high. Others are trying to put more temperature in than we are. Heat is transported into the rims and tyres more when the brake cooling is increased. The brake cooling in Mexico had to be given top priority because it is barely used there. Therefore, maintaining the front tyres' coolness had to be given less priority there. However, around Abu Dhabi, it was once again given top priority as a crucial component of the car's efficient tyre consumption during the race. It highlighted how much Mercedes' decisions were predicted on race day performance rather than qualifying, like how it did with the wing option, thus leaving Mercedes with a lacking performance in the last race of the season. Following a challenging race for the team, Toto Wolff acknowledges that Mercedes had expected more from their car in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton's forced retirement in the closing laps of the Grand Prix was the Silver Arrow's first mechanical setback of the year, while George Russell finished the race in 5th place. The team's pace issues and tyre wear, according to Wolff, were not something they had fully anticipated. "I think we pushed very hard at the beginning," Wolff told media. "It looked like in the first few laps that we had real pace. We were expecting it to stabilise, but it didn't. On the hard tyre, we were pretty much, with Lewis, on the same trajectory, like all the other teams, but we expected more from the car in terms of tyre degradation that we actually had. According to Wolff, Mercedes will investigate the matter further in order to determine why it occurred. It's something that we need to analyse, because we gave up lap time in qualifying in order to be quick in the race, and that didn't materialise, the team principal explained. The Silver Arrows were unable to challenge Ferrari for second place in the Constructors' Championship because of their performance in Abu Dhabi, which came just 1 week after their 1-2 triumph in Brazil. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz finished the season in 2nd and 4th place respectively, earning the Scuderia 554 points overall and a 39-point lead over Mercedes in 3rd. And thus, after a disappointing Abu Dhabi Grand Prix closed the Formula 1 season, Toto Wolff called 2022 a character-building year for Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton's streak of 15 seasons with at least one race victory came to an end, as Mercedes only managed to win one race, thanks to George Russell in Brazil. The W13 machine battles being excessively draggy, as well as porpoising and a core flaw issue. Mercedes were 3rd in the constructors' standings, the lowest placing since 6th in 2012, and Wolff was eager to apply the lessons from the year to the next season. First of all, we're going to put these cars in reception at Brackley and Brixworth to remind us every single day how difficult it can be, Wolff explained to media. This is a character-building season, not a blip for the race but for the full season. But we kept pushing so hard. The engine came along really well and I'm proud what we achieved there. On the chassis side, there were bad moments then good ones, but the good ones were spectacular, like a week ago in Brazil. It made us feel how good it can be, and now we're just pushing forward to next year. It's bad and it's okay to feel like this, but next year we are back. Russell finished the race in 5th place, 35.8 seconds behind race winner Max Verstappen, as Hamilton retired due to hydraulic problem at the Yas Marina circuit in the final laps. The Grand Prix, in Wolff's opinion, encapsulated Mercedes' problematic campaign. That was really not good. All the mistakes you can make on the car was there, he explained. One breaking down and the other running out of tyres is a precise summary of the season. We cooked the tyres in the first few laps when we attacked. We knew that Abu Dhabi was going to be difficult, one for the car, so at least the correlation was good. Brazil was just spectacular, dominating from the beginning to the end, and at least we will tick a box with a race win. And so Mercedes will now lay their focus on 2023 and beyond, and they have a lot to figure out. For starters, they'll have to get their 2023 Challenger up to speed if they want to fight for championships next year. Next to this, Mercedes will run into the fact that Lewis Hamilton will possibly retire in the next couple of years, meaning they'll have to recruit someone to fill that void. And now, none other than Charles Leclerc is rumoured to fill that void from the 2024 season. As Charles Leclerc is not completely ruling out a possible swap to Mercedes, the Ferrari driver was questioned about the rumours surrounding his future in an interview. And while he's not yet made any firm plans to leave Ferrari, he did not want to completely rule anything out either. Leclerc is also questioned about his future throughout the interview. When Lewis Hamilton hangs up his racing helmet, it's rumoured in the paddock that Mercedes would prefer to have Charles Leclerc. Hamilton's contract expires in 2024, and Leclerc's is still valid until 2024. Leclerc was hesitant to respond to that question with a firm response just yet. There is still a long way to go until 2024, and some more time left as a soldier in the ranks of Ferrari. Being in this team has been my dream since I was a kid. My goal for now is to win with Ferrari. After that, we'll see. But Charles Leclerc is not the only driver on the radar, as Mick Schumacher seems to become Mercedes' 2023 reserve driver. Who would you like to see end up at Mercedes? And will they be able to fight for the championship again next year? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching.